let me tell you the truth no one talks about. You're going to relapse, even with the perfect plan, full motivation, and a clear calendar. You'll have a day where everything crashes and boom, you're back where you promised yourself you'd never go. It happened to me again and again and again. But here's the difference. I stopped seeing relapse as failure and started seeing it as feedback. That shift changed everything. Because when you treat a relapse like a lesson, not a life sentence, you grow stronger, not weaker. In this episode, I'll share how I dealt with my worst relapses, the 3 types of relapse responses, only one of them works, and how I used each one to reinforce my comeback. If you've ever felt stuck in the cycle of guilt, shame, binge, guilt again, this one's for you. Hey again, welcome back to Knowle. In a last episode, we talked about triggers, how to spot them and rewire your brain's reactions. But even when you're aware, and even when you're healing, relapse still happens. It's part of the journey. In fact, some research shows that for behavioral addictions, the average person relapses 5 to 7 times before real change sticks. So the question isn't, will I relapse? It's, what will I do after I relapse? In this episode, I'll share how to bounce back from a binge without self-hate, the difference between a slip and a spiral, my personal post-relapse checklist, and why each relapse helped me get closer to freedom. I still remember one of my worst relapses. I had gone 43 days clean. I was proud, I was motivated, I thought maybe I've beaten it. Then, one lonely night, I slipped. And I didn't just relapse once, I binged for 4 days straight. I felt horrible, ashamed, like I undid everything. I was about to delete my progress tracker app and just give up. But then I paused. I journaled the entire sequence of what happened, not just the relapse, but everything before it. I noticed something. The urge came after a breakup conversation. I didn't reach out to my support group. I didn't follow my sleep boundaries. I didn't reframe the thoughts. And most importantly, I told myself, you failed. You might as well fall all the way. That was the real trap. So I changed my narrative. Instead of saying, I ruined everything, I said, I just identified a weak point in my system. Let's reinforce it. That shift, it saved me. There's a psychological model called the abstinence violation effect, AVE. It basically says, when we slip up, we feel guilt or shame, that emotional pain makes us say, screw it, I already messed up. And that leads to even more relapse. This cycle is especially common in addiction recovery. But here's the truth. A slip is not a spiral unless you let it become one. Think of it like this. Imagine you're driving on the highway and you take a wrong turn. Would you say, well, I already made one wrong turn, might as well drive 500 miles in the wrong direction now? Of course not. You'd reroute and get back on track. That's how relapse should be treated. Not as evidence of failure, but as data. Each relapse is a message. Something in your system isn't working, fix it, and you'll go further next time. So now, instead of spiraling, I debrief every slip. I ask myself, what triggered it? What emotion was I avoiding? What boundary did I ignore? What new system can I build to prevent this next time? That's how you learn forward. 3 types of relapse responses. Here's something that helped me a lot. I realized that people respond to relapse in 3 different ways. Only one of them works. The punisher. This person shames themselves endlessly. They delete their trackers, quit the journey, and say things like, I'm a loser, I'll never change. Result, they stay stuck. The ignorer. This person pretends it didn't happen. No big deal, just a little slip. But they don't reflect, so the same pattern repeats. Result, short clean streaks, long-term stagnation. The student. This person treats relapse like feedback. They journal what happened, They build a better system, and they restart immediately without letting shame delay them. Result: long-term progress and resilience. I started choosing to be the student. And guess what? Over time, the relapses became less frequent, then shorter, then they stopped feeling like identity-crushing events, just moments of learning and rebuilding. My post-relapse checklist. Whenever I relapsed, I followed this checklist within 24 hours. 1. Write down the entire sequence from 6 hours before the relapse. What was I doing, feeling, avoiding? 2. Message one trusted person. Even if it's just, hey, I slipped today, just sharing it to reset. Accountability breaks shame's grip. 3. Recommit to the streak, but adjust the system. Don't just try again. Try differently. That might mean uninstalling an app, changing sleep routines, or setting a new rule. 4. Do one action that builds momentum. Workout, cold shower, 10 minutes of journaling, anything positive. 5. Reflect. Don't regret. Ask, what did this relapse teach me about my needs? This checklist gave me structure when my emotions wanted chaos. It kept me anchored. And most importantly, it reminded me that every step, even backward, can push me forward. Let's say you've been clean for 20 days. Then one night, you relapse after watching something triggering on social media. Here's how most people respond. They say, I ruined everything. What's the point now? And they binge for 5 more days. But here's how the student responds. They pause. They say, that trigger slipped through my system. I'll block it next time. They journal the moment, take a walk, and get back to work. 20 clean days plus 1 day of lesson equals 21 days of growth. That's how real change happens. What about you? How do you usually respond after a relapse? Are you the punisher, the ignorer, or the student? Let me know in the comments. And if you've recently slipped, I want to tell you this. You didn't ruin anything. You're still on the path. This is your chance to learn more about yourself and become stronger than ever. You've got this. In the next episode, I'll share the exact mindset shifts that helped me stay committed long-term, even when the motivation disappeared. Because quitting isn't about hype, it's about identity. We're going to upgrade how you see yourself.